Did you know that the Bajaj Pulsar NS200 has been around for a decade, and the NS160 that's based on the same platform hasn't been around for that long, but it has been around for a while. Now you may wonder why Bajaj has not pulled the plug on both of these motorcycles, especially when the new N250 and the N160 are on sale. Well, they simply cannot afford to pull the plug on these bikes because both of these bikes sell in large quantities, in large numbers. That's both in India as well as in international markets, which explains why they have now, in 2023, given these bikes a few updates and brought us here to Chakan to come test them out. Firstly, let's run you through the updates. Both motorcycles get the same USD fork with 33mm inner diameter tubes and a 300mm front disc brake with an axially mounted Grimeca caliper that replaces the bi-brake units. These brakes come straight off the Pulsar 250s, and dual channel ABS is standard on both bikes, upping the safety aspect. The wheels are taken from the Pulsar N250 and they are lighter than the wheels on the outgoing bike by 1 kilogram. Lastly, the bikes get a tweaked part digital instrument cluster layout that now displays the gear position as well as information such as distance to empty. And now, let's find out what effect these updates have brought to the table, beginning with the USD fork. In theory, an upside-down fork will offer better feel, feedback and stability from the front end, especially when you're attacking corners around a racetrack, and that's exactly what we experienced with the NS200. The thing is, I can't tell you how much of a difference did a USD make over the previous bike's telescopic fork because we didn't get a chance to ride both the old and the new bike back to back. Bajaj let us start our day with a few laps on their test track on the NS200. What we can say for sure is that out on the racetrack, the NS200's front end felt planted and predictable while negotiating the slow as well as the fast-flowing corners at the Chakan test track. In fact, there's more than enough feedback from the front end, even at high speeds. That said, we found the rear to be slightly soft in comparison to the front, which caused it to feel bouncy on some sections of the track, although there were no unnerving moments. Raising the preload helps control this behavior, and there's a good amount of handling ability to exploit before the foot pegs begin to scrape the tarmac. Bajaj's decision to put the N250's brakes on both these bikes is a big and a welcome decision. These Grimecas offer stronger bite and feedback than the bi-brakes on the previous bike. Given the slippery nature of some of our roads and the chances of encountering dangerous situations, the fact that these bikes have dual channel ABS as standard is something to appreciate. We rode both the bikes out on the road over a few bumps and undulations, and at no point did we feel that the ride quality was harsh. The suspension runs off sharp edges quite nicely, and though the monoshock isn't exactly plush, it did a pretty good job of keeping our back from taking a beating. Overall, we think the bikes strike a good balance between ride and handling. Moving on to the engines, and there are no changes there except for the bikes now being equipped with the hardware to comply with the imminent OBD2 emission norms. As for the performance, the NS200's engine's peaky nature makes it quite an entertainer. It only really comes alive post 6,000 to 7,000 RPM, and it is quite a lot of fun to rev out till 10,000 RPM. The NS160, on the other hand, offers better tractability and the power delivery is quite linear. That being said, its engine is nowhere near as refined as the silky smooth engine in the Pulsar N160, and it feels a bit dated. The NS200's liquid-cooled engine, on the other hand, is more refined than the NS160, but again, it is not as smooth or refined as the new oil-cooled engine in the latest Pulsar 250s. On the other hand though, this motor is more peaky and rev-happy than the new age Pulsar 250s, which will appeal to those who like a sporty and aggressive side to their bikes. Lastly, the design of the NS200 and the NS160 has aged well, and the bikes still manage to look sporty enough in today's times. The base colors are the same as before, but there are new stickers that help differentiate the 2023 models. To me, the Pulsar NS160 with its new and more expensive hardware feels like a slightly better motorcycle to ride than the previous bike, but on the whole, it still feels like an old motorcycle, especially when you consider the brilliant Pulsar N160. That motorcycle is better than this bike in almost every aspect. And when you consider the fact that the NS160 costs about 4,000 rupees more than the N160 dual channel ABS version, it tilts the choice in favor of the N160. The Pulsar NS200, however, still makes a case for itself because there is no other bike in the segment with such character except for the KTMs. Along with the improvements that the new updates bring to the table, I think what really makes this bike so appealing is its engine. If you love revving out engines and extracting all that top-end performance, this motorcycle is quite the hooligan and completely different to the much calmer Pulsar N250. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who still find that hooligan streak of this motorcycle quite appealing.